Mollie? Mollie? Mollie, where are you?
Doing all the work, you brute.
Oh, there you are. Shall I stoke up the Agatha?
Done.
Hello, sweetheart. Your cheeks look cold.
I've just come in.
Why, where have you been? Surely not out in this weather.
I had to go to the village to get some stuff I'd forgotten. Did you get the chicken netting?
Oh, no, it wasn't the right kind. I went on to another dump, but it wasn't any good either. Practically a whole day wasted. My God, I'm half frozen. Car was skidding like anything. Snow's coming down thick. What do you bet we're not snowed up tomorrow?
Oh dear, I do hope not. If only the pipes don't freeze.
We'll have to keep the central heating well stoked up. Oh, not too good. I do wish they'd send the Coke along. We've not got any too much.
Oh, I do want everything to go well at first. First impressions are so important.
Everything's ready? Nobody's arrived yet, I suppose?
No, thank goodness. I think everything's in order. Mrs. Barlow's hooked it early. Afraid of the weather, I suppose.
What a nuisance these daily women are. Oh, I suppose that leaves everything on your shoulders.
And yours is a partnership.
So long as you don't ask me to cook.
No, that's my department. Anyway, we've got lots of tins in case we are snowed up. Oh, John, do you think it'll be all right?
Why? Do you have cold feet now? Are you sorry you didn't sell the place when your aunt left it to you, instead of having this mad idea of running a guest house?
No, I'm not. I love it. And just talking of a guest house, look at that.
That's pretty good, what?
It's a disaster, don't you see? You've left out the S. Monkwell instead of Monkswell.
Good Lord, so I have. However, did it come to that? But it's no matter, is it? Monkwell is just a good name.
You're in disgrace. Go and stoke up the central heating.
Across the icy yard? Oh, should I bank it up for the night now?
No, you don't do that until 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Appalling.
Hurry up, someone may arrive at any minute now.
You've got all the rooms worked out.
Yes, Mrs. Boyle, front four-poster room, Major Metcalf, blue room, Miss Casewell, east room, Mr. Wren, oak room.
I do wonder what all these people will be like. Shouldn't we have got rent in advance?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Rather mugs at this game.
They bring luggage. If they don't pay, we hang on to their luggage. It's quite simple.
I still think we should have taken a correspondence course in hotel keeping. I mean, the luggage might just be bricks wrapped up in newspaper. And where should we be then?
I don't think so.
Well,
I don't care who they are. You say they're criminals?
Well, they may be criminals. They may be criminals, and they may be servants with falsified certifications.
I don't care who they are, so long as they pay us 7 guineas every week.
You're such a wonderful woman of business, Mollie.
And according to Scotland Yard, the crime took place at 24 Culver Street, Paddington. The murdered woman was a Miss Maureen Lyon. In connection with the murder, the police are anxious to interview a man seen in the vicinity wearing a dark overcoat, a light scarf, and a soft felt hat. Motorists are warned against icebound roads. The heavy snow is expected to continue, and throughout the country,
How do you do?
Oh, thanks so much. I'm just like the unknown killer. I told you I was the one the specification fitted. You see, none of this would have happened if my mother, you see, my mother.
Yes, your mother?
None of this would have happened if my mother hadn't died. She would have looked after me, taken care of me.
Well, like I said, you can't go on being looked after all your life. You've got to go on, and you've just got to bear things.
I mean, you have?
Yes, I have.
Was it something very bad?
Something I've never forgotten.
Was it to do with Giles?
No, it was long before I met Giles.
You must have been very young, almost a child then.
Yes, perhaps that's why it was so horrible. I try to never think about it.
So, you and I are alike then. We're both running away.
Yes, I suppose. Considering we never saw each other till yesterday, We seem to know each other rather well.
Yes, it's rather odd, isn't it?
I don't know. I suppose there's a sort of sympathy between us.
Anything, you ought to think I'd stick it out.
Well, frankly, what else can you do?
I might pinch the sergeant's skis. I can ski quite well, actually.
That would be frightfully stupid. That would be like admitting you're guilty.
Sergeant Trotter thinks I'm guilty.
I don't know what he thinks. Oh, I hate him! I hate him! I hate him!
Who?
Sergeant Trotter! He puts things into your head, things that aren't true, things that can't possibly be true.
Like what?
I can't believe it. I won't believe it.
What won't you believe?
You see this?
Yes.
It's yesterday's evening paper, a London paper. But Giles didn't go to London yesterday.
But if he was here all day...
But he wasn't. He went to the countryside to get some chicken netting.
But, okay, that's all right. Maybe he did go to London.
Then why shouldn't he tell me he did? Why pretend he'd been driving around the countryside?
Good Lord, Molly, surely you don't think... The sergeant doesn't think...
I don't know what he thinks. He makes you think things about people. Things that aren't true. Things that can't possibly be true. You feel as though someone you love and know well might be a stranger. That's what happens in a nightmare. You're somewhere in the middle of friends and you're all laughing and you look at their faces and they're not your friends any longer. They're different people, just pretending. Perhaps you don't know anyone. Perhaps everyone's a stranger.
I seem to be interrupting something here.
Oh, no, we were just talking.
Leave, Christopher.
No.
I'm not going to leave you alone here with her. For all I know, you could be the murderer.
Christopher, I've said so already. You're the murderer. There's a killer on the loose here, and you fit the bill.
I'm not the only one to fit the bill.
What are you talking about?
You see, I'm thinking about you, Mr. Ralston. But really...
I don't know what you're saying. Leave.
Please go, Chris.
What are you doing? Leave!
I shan't be
Please.
far away, then.
What is wrong with you, Molly? Perfectly prepared to shut yourself up in the kitchen with a homicidal maniac.
He isn't!
You've only got to look at him to see he's balmy.
He isn't! I tell you, Giles, he's not dangerous. I'd know if he was dangerous. And anyway, I can look after myself.
That's what Mrs. Boyle said.
Well, don't.
Look, what is there between you and that wretched boy?
What do you mean by between us? I feel sorry for him, that's all.
Perhaps you've met him before. Perhaps you suggested him to come here and pretend to meet for the first time. All cooked up between the two of you.
Giles, have you gone out of your mind?
Pretty
How dare
odd.
you suggest these things?
Pretty odd, isn't it, that you meet in such an out-of-the-way place like this?
No odder than that Mrs. Boyle, or Major Metcalf, or Miss Casewell should.
I read once in the papers that these homicidal cases attract women. It appears that they were right. How long have you been meeting him? Where did you first meet him?
You're being absolutely ridiculous. I never set eyes on Christopher Wren until yesterday.
That's what you say. Perhaps you've been going to London to meet him on the sly.
You know perfectly well I haven't been up to London for weeks.
You haven't been to London 4 weeks. Is that so?
What on earth do you mean? It's quite true.
Then what's this? This is the glove you were wearing yesterday. You dropped it. I picked it up while talking with Sergeant Trotter. And look what's in it. A London bus ticket.
Oh, that...
So you not only went to the village yesterday, you went to London as well.
All right,
Whilst I was safely away racing across the countryside.
Whilst you were safely racing round the countryside.
Admit it. You went to London.
All right, I went to London. So did you.
What?
So did you. You brought back an evening paper.
What are you talking about?
It was in your overcoat pocket.
Anyone could have put it there.
Did they? No, you were in London.
All right, yes, I was in London, but it wasn't to meet a woman there.
Didn't you? Are you sure you didn't?
Yeah? What are you talking about?
Go away. Don't come near me.
What's the matter?
Don't follow me.
Did you go to London to meet Christopher Wren?
Don't be a fool. Of course I didn't.
Then why were you there?
Perhaps now I've forgotten why I went. I'm I'm not gonna tell you.
Molly, what's come over you now? I feel like I don't even know you anymore.
Maybe you never did know me. We've been married how long? A year? You don't know anything about who I was, what I've done or thought or felt or suffered before you knew me.
Molly, you're crazy.
All right then, I'm crazy. Maybe it's fun to be crazy.
What?
Now, I hope you two are not saying more than you mean. One is apt to do so in these lovers' quarrels.
Lovers' quarrels. That's good.
Quite so, quite so.
Where did I leave my pen?
What a horrible little tune that is.
Don't you like it? Reminds you of your childhood, perhaps. An unhappy childhood?
I was very happy as a child.
You were lucky.
Weren't you happy?
No.
I'm sorry.
But all that's a long time ago. One gets over things.
I suppose.
Or doesn't one? Really hard to say.
They say what happens when you're a child matters more than anything else.
They say. Who says?
Psychologists.
Oh, humbug. Just a lot of nonsense. I've got no use for psychologists or psychiatrists.
I've never really had much to do with them.
A good thing for you, you haven't. It's all a lot of hooey, the whole thing. Life's what you make of it. Go straight ahead. Don't look back.
One can't always help looking back.
Nonsense. It's a question of willpower.
Perhaps.
I know.
I expect you're right, but sometimes things happen to make you remember.
Go straight ahead. Again, don't look back.
I wonder, is that really the right way? Perhaps you ought to really just face it?
Depends on what you're talking about.
Sometimes I hardly know what I am talking about.
Nothing from the past is going to affect me, except in a way I want it to.